The member for Forest.
There are over 12,000 small businesses in my electorate of Forest. So that's over 12,000 instances where people have literally had a go. They've invested their own money, they've taken a huge risk, they've mortgaged their house or property and are working their hearts out in their small business. Well, the Turnbull government is backing these courageous small business people. These are the small businesses who employ almost half of our country's workforce and pay significant tax. We know our economy grows when the small business sector is strong and doing well. We also know every small business started with someone's idea, someone's dream perhaps, someone's passion, along with the sheer hard work, the dedication, the sleepless nights that it takes to make it all happen. So for the small businesses in my electorate of Forest and those right around Australia, this bill and this government backs you. The bill amends the tax law to help small businesses to invest and grow. It's a continuation of a series of measures the Turnbull government has introduced to offer genuine support for small businesses. Mr Deputy Speaker, on any day, 5.6 million Australians are at work in small businesses across the country. They're earning a wage from one of our 3.2 million small businesses. Well, these same small businesses make up 99% of all Australian businesses and annually contribute $380 billion to our national economy. Now that's big business from small business. Many of these small businesses are the heart and soul of rural and regional towns and communities, and many of us on this side are small business people. My husband and I bought our small business, a dairy farm, on the day we got married, Mr Deputy Speaker, and like most small businesses, it was head down and tail up for many years. We had a massive debt, a rundown property, and one that needed developing, and a very limited income. And I'm sure many small businesses that may be listening to this tonight can really identify with this start in business. And that's how I know that one way the government can assist small business is to cut small business taxes and cut red tape and introduce measures in this bill of the instant asset write-off. Reducing the burden of tax on small businesses directly encourages growth, you can invest in yourself, and of course it increases their ability to employ even more Australians. And of course I've said it repeatedly, Mr Deputy Speaker, how often is it that the small business in small regional communities offers young people their first job and sometimes older Australians their last job, and they support the fire brigade, the local service clubs, the local sporting clubs, and they're always there when we need them in those small communities. So the measures in this bill are part of the 2017-18 budget. Well, prior to the budget, the Turnbull government achieved a significant milestone to help small businesses by reducing the company tax rate on businesses with a turnover of $10 million or less. Now that's turnover, Mr Deputy Speaker, not profit. Some small businesses, in spite of that turnover, actually make relatively small profits. And of course that's because of the nature of their business, and they actually have to work overtime basically to pay for and retain their staff in those businesses. These are the same people who often work in their businesses in the day and on their businesses at night, and that's particular in small family businesses. This can mean doing your accounts and BAS and ordering at night, and this is exactly what happens in my own family business, Mr Deputy Speaker. Because of the Turnbull government, the tax rate for small business is now at its lowest level in many, many decades, and small businesses have more money to invest in their business today. That change in the law also means more than 90,000 additional businesses have access to tax concessions with the redefinition of small business to those turning over the $10 million per annum. The bill continues the government's plan to back small businesses whether it's the local small business owner in Dunsborough, the mature age worker in Bunbury, or the young job seeker looking to start their career in Busselton, the bill is full of opportunity. In the 2015-16 budget, the Turnbull government increased the small business immediate deductibility threshold from $1,000 to $20,000 from 12th of May until 30th of June 2017. Well, this bill extends that measure by a further 12 months. So businesses with a turnover less than $10 million can immediately deduct purchases of eligible assets, each costing less than $20,000, and they're doing it, Mr Deputy Speaker. You've referred to it yourself. And it's welcomed by many organisations that represent small business. Don't worry about those economists you spoke about, as well as by the small and family business owners themselves. The Council of Small Business Australia CEO Peter Strong said, for the third year in a row, the federal government, that's the Turnbull government, Mr Deputy Speaker, has demonstrated a genuine commitment to small business. There's a big difference between talking and action, and I think we've proved it. Any logical person knows that the best form of welfare is a job, and often that job is in small business. I visit small businesses constantly and recently hosted the Minister for Small Business, and we visited a number of my small businesses. The overwhelming sense we both got was that small businesses see the instant asset write-off as a genuine opportunity, businesses like Hot World Fabrication in Bunbury. And these are the types of businesses who now have access to the instant asset write-off. And I look at the number of businesses that have been nominated for the 2017 very prestigious Southwest Small Business Awards. It's going to be held later this month in Bunbury. Well, there are too many of these nominated businesses to mention them all, but there's a few that I would like to mention. In the industrial area of Bunbury, out at Halifax, the Warehouse Cafe feeds many mouths every day, from the early hours of the morning until through to the afternoon. And this is an excellent small business, employing 8 people and offering products that are renowned for being really top-notch and service which is exceptional. When you walk in the Warehouse Cafe, Barbara and her team will basically do everything they can to make sure that you get the food and service that you want and need. And the Southwest is home to many very efficient businesses across a number of different industries. And in over 30 years, Southern Car Care has built a strong reputation. From window tinting to electrical goods, including cruise control and stereos, Southern Car Care even install tinting for homes as well. The business employs 6 people and offers good old-fashioned service, personalised to the customer's needs. What a great way to go, Mr Deputy Speaker. Another very sound Southwest small business. And I look at other finalists in the Small Business Awards: Bailing Up Heights, Hilltop Forest Cottages, Bartercard Southwest, Built Right Approvals from Busselton, Heat Seal, who do double glazed windows and doors, and Laser Electrical in Bunbury, Rando and Associates, and Salon Sugar, a beauty salon in Bunbury. I think it's a great name, Mr Deputy Speaker. For those of us who've actually run a small business, we understand exactly how tough it can be. And as I said, small businesses people are time poor. Under our measures in this bill, the business doesn't have to keep track of the item records and can use the extra cash flow to reinvest in their business. Assets valued at $20,000 or more can continue to be placed together in the Small Business Simplified Depreciation Pool and depreciated at 15% in the first income year and 30% each income year thereafter. And once assets are placed in the pool, there's no requirement to track each item's depreciation over the multiple income years. Now this, in practical terms, for that small business and those people at home at night doing this work, this really seriously reduces the burden of paperwork so that they can actually get on the next day and do what they do best, which is employing people and contributing to the economy. And the instant asset write-off has proven to be one of the most popular small business incentives by the Turnbull government. It encourages every one of those 3.2 million small businesses to invest in their business. Now, I can't let this opportunity pass without calling out the opposition. As recently as last year, the Shadow Assistant Treasurer said, if you look at the current situation in terms of the corporate sector, you've got 28.5% for small business and 30% for big business. It makes sense to get them on the same level, doesn't it? Very logical. The member for Lilly even spoke approvingly of our plan, saying reducing company tax will create new jobs and grow the economy right around the country, to the ultimate benefit of all Australians. And we look at the chief of hypocrisy himself, the leader of the opposition, said on lowering the tax on small business, any student of Australian business and economic history since the mid-1980s knows that part of Australia's success was derived through the reduction in the company tax rate. We need to be able to make life easier for Australian businesses, which employ nearly 2 in every 3 Australians. Well, what a turnaround. Now the opposition, those very same people, rail against the government daily about these measures. It's just blatant hypocrisy, Mr. Deputy Speaker. It's actually breathtaking and very risky. Because for what we do know, it's risky for small businesses. Labor is determined to increase taxes for those small businesses with turnovers of up to $10 million. And we are about creating more jobs. That's what this government is about, and that's why we've continued to back small business in this year's budget. Extending this instant asset write-off is actually a highlight in the budget for small business. Every time we walk in the door, isn't that a great message to deliver to a small business? We're backing you. We're giving you a chance to invest in your business and your people and to continue to grow. That's what we're saying. Whether you're a trucking or transport business, no matter what you are in business, this government, we're backing you. If you're watching, we're backing small business. And I'm sure every time we do that, we increase business confidence. And as we've seen, small businesses, industry groups and business leaders right across the country have been vocal in their calls for an extension to the program, and we've responded to that. Our government is actually getting on with the job. I want to congratulate the Minister for Small Business in doing another thing as well, Mr. Deputy Speaker, in putting together what I call the Small Business Toolkit, an invaluable resource for small businesses. And I'm very pleased to say that the Minister responded very positively when this was an initiative I suggested, so that small businesses are aware of the opportunities they can take advantage of. And one of the important things is the fact that small businesses can get online and arrange for the Australian Tax Office to call them at a time that suits the small business. Now, isn't that a fantastic thing? I've talked about the fact that small businesses work in their business during the day and often on their businesses at night, dealing with the paperwork and the practicalities. Well, if you've got an issue or want to call the Australian Tax Office, they can call you when it suits you and your small business. And all small businesses need to know about this. You know, there are times when you have a need to ring the ATO. Well, get online and actually sign up, and they'll call you when it suits you. So, Mr. Deputy Speaker, there is no doubt on this side that small business is the engine room of our economy. Family business, very much part of that, from our farmers to every form of industry that we have in this country. I want to really say to small business, I encourage them every day. I know it's a great risk. I know the hard work. I've lived it and still live it. So I congratulate the Treasurer on bringing this measure before the House, and I encourage and implore the opposition to get behind this. Who in their right mind would not want to support small business in Australia? Perhaps only the Labor Party.